morning, everyone. A little bit on angel time today. Oh my goodness. Just give me one moment. I'm going to just share this quickly, not quickly, in perfect time to my page. Okay. All right, here we are. Hello. Oh my goodness. Let's just take a deep breath because I know that I need that. So exhale all air. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. It is the final day of 21 days of angel songs. And it's been such a journey. It has been such a profound arc of experience and of everything. I have felt every bit of things and emotions and experiences throughout this whole process, and the ability to step into this container every single morning and be with you all has been such a gift for me, and so like, wow, I don't really have the words, but I'm so grateful. And beautifully, and this came in a few days ago, the angelic frequency that we're working with today, or that we are commingling and co-weaving and dancing with, is completion. And I love that because it's so appropriate to our container today, because this is our final 21 days of angel songs. And thank you, Bill. That's very sweet. Yes, I feel so grateful for that. Yes, completion, and as we complete our time here together, and also speaking of completion in its many forms of expression, many ways of being present in our world, present in our experience, and even coming as the simplicity of breath, and how when we inhale, that's a completion of the in, and then a completion of the exhale. And that completion ending is always woven with a beginning, right? It's simultaneous. It's happening at the same time. It's how two of the opposite ends of a spectrum are happening at once, which are meeting in the middle. Because when there is an ending to something, and this is the beauty of the polarity spectrum that we live in this third dimensional world, where it's like the ending and the beginning are the same, and it's a perspective that allows them to begin or end. and I feel it's the integration of the two that allow them to happen at once, because there is a beginning and an end, an arc of experience that then begins another arc. We are always in these waves, cycles, and we're moving through sound waves. There's infinitude in that. And so today, as we are coming to the end of the 21 days of angel songs, my invitation to you is to tune into, if you've been here throughout this journey, or through part of this journey, what has shifted for you, what has been the arc for you. And even if you haven't been a part of this journey over the last 3 weeks, what has been your arc? What has been your experience? And even today, what is the arc like, even from when you woke up to right now? There's always infinite arcs happening. So I want to share my gratitude. I want to share my gratitude for being here, for showing up every day, My experience with discipline and with commitment and with consistency or constancy has not been, how do I want to word this, has not been uh, supportive. I would say that, in the sense that I have always had resistance and hesitance to consistency. Or rather, reframing that, like when it's like moving towards something that I desire, or towards something that I want, there's a urgency that I have had in my body that wants to bypass wants to bypass the discipline or the sort of structure of creating that. So this has been a beautiful initiation for me. I've been in a space of inviting the sovereignty and the joy and the pleasure of discipline into my life. So I completed, some of you may know, the 21 Days of Abundance has been weaving through the collective quite a bit, especially through some of the circles that I have been weaving with. So I just completed my 21 Days of Abundance, which was so powerful and so beautiful in its own way. And then guiding my own group, which is coming to their completion in a few days. And then this. So there's been a lot of invitation. Also in my personal experience, I've been, disciplined, as simple as drinking celery juice every single morning. I'm starting to add and beginning to integrate doing cold showers more often, stretching. There's all these things, and it's for me, what helps me is knowing why I'm doing it and working towards that space, not necessarily to reach the goal. Like, yes, that's a part of it, but knowing that it's the pleasure of the experience through it all, which means feeling all of the spectrum of experience, the deepest of lows, the highest of highs, the in between, the mundane, it's all of it. And there's beauty in all of it. And so this space is really profound, has been very profound for me. And it's given me more permission to show up, to trust the messages that flow through me, the vessel that I am, the abilities that I have, and that I'm continuously growing with and learning from and remembering. And with completion, I think it's really powerful when we give the space and time to actually have a breath of allowance of completion, to be complete with something. And sometimes we don't feel fully complete, and sometimes it has multi-layers. Oftentimes there's many layers to that completion. And I'm speaking, in all examples, like the completion of a partnership, the completion of a job, the completion of a certain identity that was being identified with. There's many layers to these things. And when we give ourselves the space, and I speak also from personal experience that has really supported me in my journey, is when we give ourselves the space to honor and literally just be like, I am complete with this, even just those words, really feeling it fully with the body, with the mind, with the heart, with everything. Then it creates so much space, because there's the energetic doesn't continue to fly in the field. Do you know what I mean? And what's coming in right now is sometimes there are certain parts that feel complete and others that don't. So there can be a moment of completion where you feel complete in the mind, right, with a certain experience, but your heart isn't there yet, or your body isn't there yet, and that's okay too. It's honoring the levels of completion as well. So, and knowing that it continues to ripple out too. Whatever came from that experience continues to ripple out. And it's with our awareness, and it's with our discernment and reception and, awareness, that we then can make a choice that can continue to ripple out that which nourishes us, which supports us with all of those things. And knowing that we are an infinitude of expression in a form, in a physical form. And there will be days where the energy can feel very low. There can be anger, there can be grief. And then that's okay too. The full emotion. The beauty, I think one of the most beautiful things about being a human, being an energetic, being an energy in physical form, is the fact that we get to feel, we get to really feel energy in motion. Our human experience is experience. A lot of it is what integrates, is the actual experience. So when we experience what it is to feel expansive or contracting, it's that, and that's beautiful. And so I think the biggest gift that we can give to ourselves is to observe ourselves in the process of the experience and really feeling it fully. And yeah, it's this beautiful, like, allowance of having the fullness of the experience while also observing yourself in the fullness of experience, so it doesn't go into a loop or a spiral of story of creating a validation of, like, it's really the integration of the mind, the spirit, the body. And I'm no expert on this. I'm just speaking from what my experience has been, especially like for me. My greatest lesson throughout this entire experience of the 21 days of angels, and really from, like, December, mid-December, solstice time onward, is this realization of slowing down, and that my mind, my heart, my spirit is very quick and gets it and integrates it, and it's here. And then my body takes a little bit more time to catch up, you know? And the body is the densest part of our experience, right? There's a lot here. It's matter, it's physical. So it takes a little bit of time to shift, to move, to restructure, to clear, to alchemize. It takes a little bit of time. Yes, it's immediate, and there's a ripple. So what I have found in my experience is that I oftentimes forget that my body needs a little bit more time, and it actually can speed up to all those shifts and completions if I actually give myself the time and nurture my body in the way that it needs to be nurtured in that point in the moment. And in that, it can be slower. I say all of this because my invitation to you today is to find out what is your pace. And your pace can be different in different ways. And how can these paces within you, right? Your mental pace, your emotional pace, your spiritual pace, your physical pace, all of the paces, all of the speeds, how can they weave together? How can they dance? How can they be supportive of each other, right? Instead of having a fight of all right, we got it. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And your body's like, wait, I need some more time, And I think that's a big part of, I know it's been a big part of my lesson, my major lesson throughout this life is slowing down, and I discovered something beautiful today that I'll share with you that may maybe spark a realization for you, or invite, a curiosity. Is this morning I woke up much earlier than I have been in these days, just to try and see what would happen. And I found that I had so much time. I had a container, right? This is the masculine. I had a time, space, 2 hours, more or less, to do what I needed to do to be ready, right? To be fully here. Because I have felt ready throughout most of these days. Like sometimes I showed up and I was like, wow, I'm really tired, but I'm still going to show up. But I gave myself the time today to do what I needed to do at a pace that I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel like I needed to do this. I just really gave myself the time, which really allowed my feminine energy, right? The time being the masculine and the space and the container, and the feminine to just be in the flow of the morning, to really feel supportive, to feel like I got what I needed to get done, and like really tuned in, like meditated. I took a shower, had my celery juice, like in the space of permission and flow. And I had this beautiful moment as I was washing the dishes where I was like, whoa, okay, slow down. For me, this means right now giving myself enough time to do what I need to do in order to go at the speed that I like to go with, which is usually quite quick. And so that was a beautiful realization for me today. And so give yourself the time you need in order to do that in whatever way that means. And I understand, there's different ways of living, and that way that is flowing, and what that looks like for me may not look like that for you, but again, it's something that comes in right now, especially around discipline and commitment, and like getting into an arc of completing a commitment. There's this often phrase where it's just like, oh, I'm not good at commitment, or, oh, I'm not good at, discipline. That's not true. And I know this firsthand because I've been in this. You are very good at committing, because if it may be that you feel, and I say you in the collective, not you personally, it's like we may feel that we're not good at commitment because, we're not putting in the time, say if you want to build more muscle mass, but we're not putting in the time, going to the gym or stretching or going to the park, or however it is that's accessible to you. But we are committing to sleeping in. There's a commitment to, scrolling on the phone, or a commitment to, there's a commitment to something else, basically, is what I'm inviting into this space. So it's not that there's being bad at commitment. It's just that, what are you committing to? Because when we commit to something that is actually something that we want, that we desire, it means that we're going to be up against, or we're going to be the invitation to lean into the spaces where that hasn't been allowed, or we don't believe that we're worthy of it, or it's going to ask us to dissolve and alchemize identities that have said that this is not possible, right? This is why I think commitment to the things that we want can be really difficult, because it's going to ask us to dissolve things that we've identified with. You know what I'm saying? I know that I've been up against this, and I say up against because sometimes it feels like that, but it's like, okay, lean in. Oh. So I think all of this to say is just that with completion, like this space is completing, and it's been such a gift for me to hold space, to share space, for us to tune in together to what's here. And it's a completion, but it is also a beginning. And a beginning of what? I'm not sure. I know that I've received a lot of insights about like what I want and what's here and what's possible. And I also know that I'm going to be integrating this time for as long as it's necessary. And with completion, completion is also allowed its time. Completion is also a part of integration. So giving time for the things that have completed, and that space to integrate, that space to receive all the wisdom that's been received, and to just be like, okay, this is done in its present iteration, or this energy is complete, So seeing completion as this gift of something new. And sometimes completion begins a new beginning immediately. And sometimes completion has a in-between period where it's complete, then nothing's really happening, or seemingly nothing's really happening, and then it begins, right? So really loving into those spaces, loving into the death, essentially, right? Death, rebirth, these terms are really like when something completes, it's complete, and it may in some ways die within us and become compost and alchemize into a new beginning. It may fuel the new beginning, but it may be like our completion may be a beginning for someone else. Like for example, with a job, you may complete your time at a job that you maybe have had for a while or not. You complete your time at a job, and that may be a death in a moment. But for someone else, that space has been created, and all of a sudden they're starting their new life. They're starting with, this is so joyful, just as an example. So completion is a gift. And I know that the completing of this container is an invitation for something new to bloom, to be expanded upon, and to really receive what has been here with whatever it is that resonates for you, for myself, for us, and to leave everything else at the table. We don't have to take everything. We don't have to resonate with everything. My invitation always is to question. This is how we receive in deeper discernment and trust of our intuition. So this has felt like a really beautiful, expansive, testing, and illuminating marathon because it's brought so much forward for me, and I hope that it's served you in whatever way that has. And I'm just really deeply grateful. And my question for you in this moment is there, and if there is, what is presently completing in your life? And what is that inviting you to step out of, step into? What is it inviting you to question and to get more curious about and discerning, and in your intuition and your intuitive and psychic gifts? Yeah, what is completing for you in this moment? And as you tune into that for yourself, and if you feel to share, please do. If not, that's okay. Perfect. We together are going to ask and tune into the energy of our guardian of the day and ask, who is our guardian of the day? I think I already know who it is. Yep. Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael. Trusting heaven. You are safe. Angels stand close. Surrender your concerns and allow a miracle to occur. I really, really love Michael, and he's not, funny enough, he's not one that I pull often from this deck, because he comes through in so many different ways. But I love that Michael is our final guardian of the day, of today, because in this energetic of completion, and sometimes when we feel complete, my dog is sitting and it's very, very cute. Hi, cutie. And he hasn't been here throughout the whole days except today, which is also, he's like my little, he's such a intuitive wizard. Sometimes when things complete, no matter what their seeming size may be, there can be a little bit of fear or uncertainty of like, okay, this is ending, what's next, right? Our mental self, our ego self can be in the space of like, I don't know what to do, I need to know right now because I need to be safe. And Michael comes in with the energy of, we are always taken care of. We are always within, like so deeply, there is safety, there is security, that inner knowing of that. Yes, there are physical spaces that are not safe in that way. And when we shine our inner light, when we are here within our heart, there's this oh, it's just coming in. It's just Michael really supports with transition. So, of course you can see him. I'll pick him up in a second. Yes, so there's this space of protection, this space of really in this container of completion into the potentiality of the new beginning, that we are safe, that trusting the intuition, trusting what our guidance has been. And it's like, everything is, it's like the job thing comes up quite a bit today. So maybe someone is who's tuning in. Charlie, hold on one second. I'll grab the little guy. Charlie, come here. Our little friend. He's my little teddy bear. This is Charlie. Sweet little Charles. That little dragon bear. So that within, when we are told so many times or reflected so many times that it's time to shift out of, say, the job, of course, when we make the choice, we'll be like, yes, it's good. And then immediately it's like, what did I do? Is this the right decision? It's totally normal. It's okay that those doubts come up, because there are parts of you that have been attached or linked in or woven into that energetic of the job that are being invited to be alchemized, being invited to be shifted. And so that's okay. And it's supporting the new beginning. And so Michael comes in with this wisdom of, I got you. And by that, you got you. You're safe, you're good, you're protected. And yeah, you're good, and calling in that inner strength, that sword of a spine. You want to sit? So it's really the word that comes in is good, right? Completion can be a really powerful place, and sometimes it can bring up a lot of pain, a lot of grief, a lot of anger. It can bring up all of that, and that's okay too. Feel that deeply. Let it move through your body. Emotion is energy in motion. So let it move through you, express the way that you need to express. And from a place of like, if you don't have someone to hold the container for you, create a container for yourself where you can go there. So whether it's like closing the door of your room and just going in there, going into nature, hugging a tree, giving it to the earth, going into the ocean and dunking your head under the ocean and screaming or singing or yelling or whatever, even in your ecstasy as well. So it's really here. It's really here for us. So thank you, Michael, for holding that space. He's been holding the space with us for 21 days as well. He's a very powerful, deeply loving, energetic, and no bullshit. Charlie, look, can you say hello? He's like, what are you doing, woman? He's chilling. All right. Are you gonna pick our card today? Sometimes Charlie likes to boop the cards, and he always chooses right. He always chooses in resonance. So today, let's tune into our message of the day. Sorry, Papa, your paw's right there. He's so good. He's so good. Charlie, what's your wisdom today? What's your wisdom of the day? Rest, nap, and have a lot of fun. All right, what is our message of the day? As we complete our final message of the 21 days of angel songs. Woo. Okay. Please one card. Sometimes there's like 10 that want to come out of the deck. All right, what is our message of the day? I love it. Oh, we got the beautiful feminine and masculine today as well. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. I really, really love this. I really love her. She's amazing. So, this message is really beautiful because I think many of us in this moment collectively are in a space of laying foundations, which means that a lot of us are saying goodbye and completing spaces where it's like any micro adjusting that we've done, any ways that we've said yes to things that actually weren't a yes, or we said it because it was from a place of fear or insecurity or not trusting. So a lot of us are clearing a lot of those spaces, and 2019 was really big on that, clearing the spaces in order to now begin or continue to lay the foundations for what is actually here for us, or what is actually what you're here to bring in the world, what it is that is your expression in the world. And this can be as simple as, if you're a mother, the foundations of laying your mamahood, your mother, energetic and supporting your children or your child, and clearing away the spaces of anything that wasn't in support of that, and that also means taking care of yourself. So this is a space of laying foundations and knowing that not all of it is going to be externally acknowledged. That's something that comes through really strong with Anna's card. I've pulled her a lot. She really, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's like almost like this is my duty. This is why I'm here on the planet, is to lay the foundations. She is a huge part of why the Christed consciousness came to the earth in that incarnation that was Yeshua, that was Jesus, and that energetic, and Archangel Michael, the supportive masculine of this space. So it's the space of really laying, what are you laying foundations of, and how are you creating the time, the space, the container in order to do that, to then allow the energetic to flow, right? The beautiful integration of the masculine and the feminine. So I love Anna because she is this gentle yet fierce, compassionate soul that comes in and it's almost like her energetic is like there is no questioning. What is it that you are here to do? What is it that you are here to bring forth? What is it that lives in your heart so deeply that wants to resonate throughout all time, space, realms, dimensions, all of it? And knowing that at the deepest core of your being, you are supported and protected and loved in that, and it's not about external validation. It's not about uh, proof that it's worthy. It's like and I say this to myself as well, like we know, right? I'm gonna take that as a confirmation. Charlie's like, yeah. We know why we're here. My invitation with this as well is to tune into your younger self, to your inner child, and what is it that brought them the most joy over the period of 0 to 7 years old? What brought joy? Like, did you draw for hours? I know one of the things that I loved was, when we were by the ocean, to find the crabs and like exploring and uncovering and working with nature. What is it that you loved? What sparked so much freedom in you and you could do for hours, right? Because there wasn't all this other stuff that was piled on top of it. And can we to return to that, the remembrance of that essence, right? And balancing it with all the other things that we have now, that living in this third dimensional reality where there are bills to pay, where there are things to get done, groceries to buy, and letting that be a part of that joy, being a part of that mission, of your mission. You are alive, and that is enough. And what it is that sparks joy for you, what it is that is passion for you, what it is that you love sharing and connecting with the world, with people, with your friends, with your family, with yourself, and inviting more of that forward. Really inviting more of that forward, and allowing your choice to also be the surrender to the guidance that comes through from your heart, from your from the depths of your belly, from your inner power center, your inner sun. So, you know what you're here to do and what you're here to bring forward. And it is simply through who you are. It is simply through your expression in the world, your uniqueness, your who you be. Just who you be. When you are in your creativity, when you are in your joy, when you are in a space of liberation, purpose, passion, that ripples out, and that is enough. And this is why validation, it's so nice to receive validation, because we are a reflective space. We are a reflective dimension in society, and reflection is good, and validation feels wonderful. And sometimes we don't get the external validation, but we must trust that is happening. I know that there have been experiences where I, maybe have said something to someone in a conversation that, just was a normal, easeful conversation, and have come up to me, years later, and they said, I will never forget what you said. That gave me what I needed in order to do what I needed to do. I've had experiences like that, and I didn't know that happened. I wasn't even in a space. I was just like, we're just having a conversation. You never know the impact that will be made. So the 4 Agreements just came in really strong. So if you haven't read that book, I highly suggest it. It's a really powerful book. It's one of the books that I really love and have continued to hold dear in my heart. And I have a Google Drive link with the audiobook, with the audio of that. So if you'd like that, send me a message. Or I know if you can scroll down some of my timeline, it's there too. But if you'd like that, I'm happy to give that to you. But yeah, children bring so much joy because they're in their light, they're in their heart, they're in their presence now, they're in the now. And that is an incredible gift. And so can we bring back that divine innocence, that divine pleasure, that divine joy of just like, I'm here and I'm doing what I need to do, and it feels really fucking good. And even if it feels shitty because I'm moving through a really deep layer, I can still see the beauty in it, the beauty of it. I can see, I can feel, I can allow this to move, because I know that what's on the other side is even more radiance and joy and expression. And your gift of feeling is one of the greatest gifts that we have as a human being. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being the unique expression that you are. Charlie has made his grand appearance on 21 Days of Angel Songs. And do you want to go down? Are you ready to go down? Do you want to hang out? He's chilling. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on this final day of 21 Days of Angel Songs. Whether you are here live or on the replay, you are here now, and that is all there is. So, taking a moment of silence before tones come in. A couple of deep breaths in your own space and time. And closing your eyes if that feels good for you and you are able. Saricaluius amor, Siva. Sau, sau, sau. Taking a deep breath in and exhale out. Deep breath in And exhale out. Deep breath in and exhale out. My deepest bows of gratitude and love to each and every one of you. That little do-da-da-da-da was from my inner child. She was like, I want to keep singing. So I allowed her to. I let her. I was like, go ahead, play. And it has been such an honor and beauty to hold space with you, to hold space together, to create this space together, and to weave in spoken word, in melodics, in silence, in guardians and messages, in crystals. I have my beauties here, my dearest companions. There's so much more to say, but what I will say in this moment is that I love you. Thank you for this journey. Thank you for being here. And I love you so, 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 so much. In this moment, in this present now, we are complete. I love you. Be well. And I will see you in the perfect alignment that is to come. If you would like to view these videos again, I will be uploading them over the next few days to both my YouTube and my Patreon. And the links are at the bottom of the status. I don't know which side it's on, but at the bottom of the status. And you can view them there. They'll all be in one place in order of from day 1 to day 21. And so if you would like to tune into a frequency that we co-created together and brought in, and the angels brought forward on a particular day, go ahead and listen. The tones and the melodies usually come in towards the last 15 minutes of the video. So if you're just looking for that, go ahead and tune in there with that. Meditations as well. I'm really excited to upload these. It will take me a few days. So thank you for your patience on that. If this has supported you and you feel to support in a way of financial abundance, you are able to contribute through Patreon for I think as little, it's free, but it's also, I think you can contribute to as little as $1 a month. So that's something that calls to you to support myself in that way and bringing more melodies forward and just supports me. You're welcome to do that, and I welcome that. The gift of giving in that way. Thank you. And the gift of your presence, your space here. And I'm receiving paying a pulse to just mention this, that if you are tuning in on the replay, if you are tuning in into this at what is a later time, not live, please know that you are right on time, that you are here now, and that is perfect, and you haven't missed anything. And this is coming in at the perfect time for you. And I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you're here. And let me just tune in if there's anything else to share before I sign off for 21 Days of Angel Songs. Just simply that I will be taking some time off of social media. Don't know if completely off just yet, but definitely less time. I am going to integrate, and there's a potential that I will be sharing both tone, melodic meditations, sound meditations, as well as spoken meditations. And I think if that flows through, and it has been coming in quite strongly, I don't know when that will happen exactly, but I will definitely let you know. Those will be available on my Patreon as well. So keep a lookout for any announcements that are coming in. And I also would like to announce that these lovely earrings are ones that I made, and I will be selling more of these kinds of creations this Sunday at the Astoria Market at I think it's called the National Bohemian Hall from 12 to 6. So if you are in the lookout, it's a pre-Valentine's Day market. So there's going to be a lot of amazing vendors with different goodies and gifts and treasures to either buy for yourself or for a loved one or a partner. I will be there selling some of my creations, most of which are earrings. I'll also be selling some Valentine's dragon orb ornaments for Valentine's Day. So if you are free, I will be there, and I'm really excited to be bringing forth these earrings that I have been creating on and off for the last 3 years or so, and I'm really excited. So that's something that's happening as well. I love you. Be well. Thank you for staying till the end um, of this space, and for all the little announcements. And yeah, hop onto YouTube, subscribe, or Patreon. I think you can follow as well on Patreon, or donate a monthly gift if that's something that resonates for you. And I love you, and I'm looking forward to the beginning from this ending and what's to come, and all the things that will be coming forward in this now, in this creative space. So I love you. Thank you, and be well. Mwah. You are an angel and magic and beautiful and perfect.